Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. Excited to have this video guru. All right, she's not, but she's going to learn. This is my dear friend Lesley Wilson VanGoethem. We're here to talk about getting involved, what's going on in the real estate market. She is running for a director position on the board at Orlando Regional REALTOR Association. So we're going to talk about that too, but we're going to get to know the one and only Lesley WVG. What's up, Lesley? How you doing today?
Hey, Teddy. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I know how much you love video because you took my video class once at the ORRA, some ORRA event, but you do really well on it. So I'm excited to have you. Before we went live, I told you that the audience loves origin story. They want to know about you, maybe your point A to point B. We joked that you didn't come out of the womb and go, I want to be a real estate agent. I don't know anybody who really does that. So give them a little 411, a little bit of origin story on you.
Well, I was born in Pittsburgh, so still a Steeler fan.
Steelers,
as everybody knows, it's kind of like one of those things is, you're born with black and gold in your blood and it never leaves. I moved to Florida in the 70s, so probably older than some of the viewers. And it's just where I've been here longer than they've been born. I went down to Naples and started out as a bartender and made some great money in a wonderful town. Naples has grown so much, I don't recognize it anymore, but I moved away in 98 and came up to Central Florida.
What made you come here?
My job. I was working at Target, running their garden centers and climbed the Target ladder, was an exec for them. And one of the companies that serviced our garden centers had offered me a position as their wholesale salesperson. So I actually was peddling plants to all the big box stores. And I said, sold those little 99-cent bedding plants. And I think my favorite story from my boss back then was whenever I asked for more money, he told me to go sell more plants. And I was their first $1 million salesperson in the state of Florida.
Wow.
So my territory was Orlando up to Jacksonville and across the Panhandle to Baton Rouge.
Wow, so you got a large territory.
I stayed on the road a lot. And in between all of that, whenever Target got out of the garden center business, I had to figure out something else to sell and figured, well, what's the difference between a plant and a house other than size? Little did I know, you really don't sell houses. They sell themselves. You just have to understand the process. So, but I've fallen in love with my job and my career, my career change. And the more I've learned, the more I want to give back. And that's leads me to my.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't even need to be here. You've got your own transitions and I love this. Yeah. I think you're, I have to talk to you about plants at some point because I'm fascinated by them, but know nothing about them. So I am sure you probably have a yard full of them or you have a yard that has none of them. I've realized that people who love plants either have a ton or they just have these small particular ones that I don't know the names of. So kudos to you for making the transition. I love anything to do with plants. Let's talk about the giving back. So getting involved because people don't realize that we have a lot of people don't realize we have a realtor association, a very active and large real estate association here in town. So before you tell us a little bit about your why and what it even means to be a director, how did you begin to realize that you wanted to get involved? All realtors have to pay their dues. And so of course you're sort of forced to, but then you make a choice at some point to decide, well, I want to get to know more people. I want to get involved.
Well, I guess my first involvement at ORRA, of course, was through the education department. They have one of the finest of any of the associations. And I was encouraged by my broker at the time to take a couple of classes. The more classes I took, the more people I've got to know. And when I was showing property to my potential buyers, I'm running into the realtors that I met in class and went, wait a minute, if people do business with who they know, like, and trust,
Yes.
I need to get more face-to-face with other realtors because I'm not going to have both sides of the deal. And sure enough, I says it was great. My first deal was because somebody I'd met at ORRA taken a class and they knew what I believed in. So that got me started. And then Laura Beasley was the chair of the risk management committee. And that's when I found out everything we do can turn sideways very quickly. And how to prevent doing things was learning more. And so the more I learned, the more I wanted to help others. And I've always been the mentor type person, the cheerleader, helping the young person as well as the one that's been there forever that's forgotten things. I'm a big believer of do what's right and help others. If we're going to help promote our business to a different standard, then we need to raise those standards.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Wow, you do this better than me. You can take over the show at any moment, Lesley. I'm serious that was excellent. I would have asked sort of your why, which we can lead into that. So it's one thing to be involved. It's you go to you serve on some committees, you're being educated, you meet people. It's another thing to serve as a director. So what's your why there? I think it's important for people to understand. A director is a commitment. It's a high level position on the board. I mean, these are things that you're talking about taking on more of a leadership role. So what's your why there?
I've been on a number of committees and learned different parts and aspects of ORRA. I've always associated with a lot of the people that have been a director or past director or past president. And the more I talked to them, the more, not so much in awe of them I was, but appreciated what they saw and gave back. I'm finally at a point where I've done enough committees. I think I'm respected with my peers, that I do what's right. I've always thought of it's the membership first. We are a member-driven organization, so it has to be what's important to them, and I try to hear and listen, and I think that's what I bring to the table.
It's exciting. I love when people are that committed like you to want to do more, because I've served on every committee. I've chaired committees, not necessarily at ORRA, and it's when you take that next step, it's a big deal to even want to do that. So kudos to you. I think it's amazing that you're running. When are elections, so that I know how all this works?
Next week.
The
26th through the 30th. The voting will open on Monday and end at, I believe, 4:59 on Friday.
And where do people go? Just to orlandorealtors.org?
Yeah, ORRA will be sending out emails with a link, and I'm sure that if you go to my Facebook page, you'll find it. I've been doing quote unquote campaigning a little bit there. Just trying to let people know who I am and my why. But ORRA will be sending out, and hopefully lots of us sharing the website of where you go to vote. And of course, it is just realtors can vote, not my friends and family.
No affiliates either, you kids. It's realtors, which is great. You're electing your realtor representatives. So I'm a big proponent of that. All right. Before I ask you my second to last question, tell me just a little bit about what you're feeling in the market. Is it Chicken Little and the sky is falling? Are we stabilizing? Are you feeling good? What's your take?
I think it's going to be a long time until we start seeing anything fall. We still are having inventory issues. What I'm seeing is I have a buyer that I started working with a couple of months ago, and while she was qualified at X amount, now she's a little nervous because X amount is costing her a little bit more, so her monthly payment is higher. So trying to balance with interest rates, we'll see them, they go up and go down, and like the old saying is, fall in love with a house and date the rate.
Yes.
We'll see it drop down. I don't foresee us taking a hit. I'm busier now than I was a year ago. So
I agree. The market, I feel like, is what you make it and how you adapt. And so there are, I meet with people all the time. They're the ones that say, oh my God, I'm getting out of real estate. And then I just say, well, bless and release. One less person who's has a sort of a negative approach to things is good for me. And it's probably, they're going to be happier anyway. I absolutely agree with you. I think there's plenty of business out there, and maybe you just have to switch it up a little bit on how you approach doing business. All right, one last question. It's a personal one. Don't worry, not too personal. I'd love to ask just a personal one because then it's something you haven't had a chance to think about. When I say the word hero, who's the first person who comes to mind for you?
my mother,
Tell me why.
she was one of the first that broke a glass ceiling. Not only is she one of the most intelligent people ever that I've ever met, and not because she's my mother. She is an accomplished author. She worked for the Foundation of Study of Cycles and taught me that everything always goes in cycles, no matter what it is. She was the first female executive for Alcoa Aluminum. She raised my brother and I as a single mom back in the day when it wasn't done. And she went to work every day, held her head up proud, and taught me that I can do whatever I put my mind to it. She's my hero.
I love that. See, that's really good. Thank you for sharing that. Kudos. That's a beautiful story. Beautiful. All right, Lesley Wilson VanGoethem. You can find her at sellingcentralflhomes.com. You can also find her on social media. You want to check her out. There aren't many Lesleys spelled that way, with a Wilson, with a VG at the end.
It's just the one with the big long last name.
The one with the giant last name, what I love. For my realtor friends who are part of ORRA, make sure you vote. Your vote does count, and it means something. And it's a privilege to be able to do that and to vote for your directors. And if you don't think that makes a difference, you've got to pay attention more. It makes a huge difference. So get out and vote. You can find more information at orlandorealtors.org, but you certainly want to check out Lesley's page, Facebook page, and her website. Lesley, thank you so much. See, you did it. It was perfect. Beautiful.
Thanks, Teddy.
Told you you're a natural. Right, y'all, get out and vote. Reach out to Lesley or me. I'll get you in touch with Lesley. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.